My fears of flying began, I would say, almost 8-9 years ago. I think the first time I started to feel a sense of fear about flying was when I watched the movie Alive.
People who have phobias about flying, very often it's the only phobia they have. But very often it's not. Very often a fear of flying is really a fear of being closed in or claustrophobic.
I mean, it was cool when I was a kid. I went to Italy when I was 12 years old. There was no fears. And then once I became a teenager and kind of understood, as you get older, you realize, how precious life is and how quickly it could be taken away. And that's when it really kind of set in for me.
It's completely non-related to intelligence. Anybody who ever says to a phobic patient, "You're such a smart person, how could you think the plane's going to go down when you know all the statistics?" isn't revealing much insight into human nature.
I would physically feel like I had no control, and I didn't know how to make myself feel safe.
I would define it as a phobia when it becomes disabling or disruptive to your own life or to people around you. Virtual reality is really giving patients a sense of experiencing the phobic situation. Now, there's different ways to do it. You can do it by showing people slides or a video of being in a plane, but the virtual reality, these glasses right here, provide what I think is the closest approximation, because you get a 3D image, like a high-end video game.
Flight attendants, prepare for arrival.
But you're really all around it, or it's all around you. You're in a, quote, virtual world. We can control the entire environment, create thunderstorms. You might feel some rumbling in the seat. We can expose patients to whatever area of the flight is that creates the most anxiety.
Taking off is the worst part of the flight for me. Once I'm up in the air, as long as we're pretty steady, I'm okay. But the taking off is just an unnatural feeling for me.
This is your captain speaking. Good afternoon, folks. We are on schedule for our departure. We expect to arrive at our destination on time.
All right, Claudia, the engines are going to You're going to take off soon, so I'd like you looking out the window now, please. We found that in almost all cases, when people have anxiety attacks when they're flying, they begin hyperventilating. Hyperventilation is the kind of, it causes problems because people become chest breathers instead of abdominal breathers. In other words, they're breathing from the thoracic area instead of the diaphragm. Our high success rate in treating fear of flying with virtual reality is augmented by the biofeedback, which teaches people to generate a state called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. Sounds like this.
Okay.
Okay. It's not something we're neurologically wired or inclined to do, to abdominally breathe. So one of the first things that we do with our patients is to teach them how to counteract this by engaging in diaphragmatic breathing, and that's the effect of the biofeedback. So let me take you through this. This is a device called GSR or EDR, measuring your anxiety. It's pretty much similar to a polygraph. It's picking up changes in your level of anxiety. Now, when we first started, we're down on the ground, you were down here. This is when we began.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when the plane began to taxi, and you felt the first movement, you got very anxious here. Then you seemed relieved, and when the flight attendant came on, the female, making her announcement, you were still okay. So So down here, nice and relaxed, everything's going fine. As we're taxiing, a slight increase here when the captain spoke.
This is the captain speaking.
But you're still relatively relaxed. When the engine's accelerated again, your heart accelerated.
Yeah. It's amazing.
What's needed?
How accurate it is.
When that happens, when you breathe diaphragmatically, there's a rapid increase in the heart rate. And when you exhale diaphragmatically, there's a rapid drop. When that happens, you're in a state of respiratory sinus arrhythmia. The body does not manufacture adrenaline or norepinephrine. In other words, the body's fight-or-flight response shuts off. And you physiologically cannot experience anxiety when you're breathing that way.
I didn't think I would be as calm as I was today. I really felt so relaxed and calm, I could have fallen asleep, and I wasn't anticipating that. From the controlled breathing, I can't feel any anxiety. I'm so relaxed and sedated.
When we actually lay the treatment out and show people physiologically how they're responding, and then physiologically how they're responding when they breathe properly, and they see it, and they feel better. And I say to them, you see how good you feel right now? Which is after they've had the diaphragmatic breathing training with the cardiac feedback. I said, imagine if you could feel like this when you're flying. And they say, Doc, if I could feel like this, I'd be cured.
I think maybe this can be effective.
Ladies and gentlemen, U.S. Air Shuttle, welcome to Washington. The local time is 11 o'clock. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened.
So essentially, you have the strategy now. In any situation, you can use for the rest of your life to calm yourself down.
Exactly. Like that.
What'd you tell him?
I told him that I flew and it was okay. I can't believe it. I'm like in shock.
Why? What's going through your mind?
I just can't believe that I went on a plane, that I flew, that I was safe, that I feel okay, and I feel happy. I'm proud of myself, and I got my airplane thing to prove it, so I'm ready to go back.
Thank you.